Hello, my name is Joy Gregory. I'm an artist and I have been commissioned by the Royal Albert Memorial Museum to make a new piece of work which responds to their collection against the backdrop of the transatlantic slave trade. The work I will make is part of a much larger exhibition at RAMM, which explores the region's connection to the transatlantic trade through the museum's collections. And it is also an opportunity to tell so many untold stories, looking at the interactions between the people of Exeter and West Africa over many centuries, as well as the origin of the wealth, or much of the wealth within the county. My practice is very research-based, and I've had a lot of research with regard to this from both the museum and the local community. In the course of the research, I've had lots of opportunity to visit the museum and also to visit Exeter and the surrounding area. And I've been up several times, many times. And it was also great to have an opportunity to look at objects in the collection, both those that are on show, as well as things that are kept in the store. And I'm afraid each time I've come up, I have looked at various objects and then come away with like another idea of how, or a different path of how I'm going to construct the work. Hopefully things will begin to settle down quite soon. It has been great on my earlier visits to meet the staff and to look at different aspects of the exhibition. I've been working very closely with Lara Goodband and the curator Sally Ayres and Tony Eccles. And it's been brilliant to have access to such extensive knowledge and expertise, which has really, really helped the development of the work. I've also begun to have a much greater appreciation of materials and how and why they're used in the construction of objects. I've also been looking and thinking about the portrait of an African, which I imagine will form a major part of the exhibition, and has for many years been assumed to be Ignatius Sancho, but now there's obviously a lot of debate around that, and there probably was for quite a long time. But I think with something like that, there are so few records of Africans in Europe, in England, in the UK, that we always have to assume, because of the dress, that it must be somebody famous whose name is in the public domain. This may not be the case. It may be someone who has, whose record has disappeared and may be unearthed at some later date. I've enjoyed going up for study days and advisory panel meetings, which have given me a chance to listen and think about the unpacking of stories, and to focus more on what I might use within the museum in the construction of the work. I've been looking a lot at things that are associated with sugar, from sugar baking, syrup jars, sugar mold, sugar loaves, cocoa bean, tobacco, and photographs, as well as objects themselves. On one of my visits, I think with the last visit I went up, I had the opportunity to go into the stores and see the most amazing piece of embroidered textile, which I find it absolutely breathtaking. I've not forgotten it. And I'm very excited and hope very much that it is going to be included in the exhibition. It's a very fragile piece of work, but it gives a very strong backdrop to the story of Exeter and its connection to the African continent and the Americas and the origin of wealth. Beautiful, beautiful piece of work. I've also had a couple of fantastic meetings with the Devon Development Agency, Windrush Group, and many people at the last meeting have very kindly offered to help and assist me in the development of the work through telling stories, which is what my work is all about, is the telling of stories. My last visit to Exeter and the museum was on the 11th of March, which was just before lockdown. And at that point, I was pulling everything together and thinking, this is what I'm going to make. But I had no idea what was going to happen next. I don't think anybody imagined that. And obviously coronavirus has been an interruption and disruption to everything for all of us. And I suppose for me, with my thinking about the course that work could take, I mean, obviously having lived through this period and looked and been made very aware of the huge inequalities revealed through the virus, from the number of people whose skin color is similar to mine passing away through the virus, to the killing of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Black Lives Matters. I mean, like all of these injustices have brought to a much wider view, and the understanding that they go back centuries. And I suppose for me, the thing around Black history is it's not about Black history, it's all of our histories, and something that we all need to consider. And I think that has come to the surface. And we're now at a point that something like this exhibition is long overdue. The need to unpack those histories, entrenched attitudes, examine them, and one-dimensional thinking, and give voice to all of those silent stories. My work, I feel, is going to pull on a myriad of voices and perspectives, and reflecting deeply on the issues that have been thrown up in the distant and more recent past, and I plan to put it into a form of audio-visual framework. So watch this space.